Hello everyone and welcome back to our virtual Mishnah Berurah share. We are holding a Mishnah Berurah Chelik Gimel, and Mir Hashem today we will be learning Daf Yud Ches Amid Beis. We are continuing to learn Hilchos Shabbos. We pick up today on Yud Ches Amid Aleph, 2 lines off the bottom, Siman Reish Nun Beis Sif Daled. Our learning today should be a schos for Achenu Kol Beis Yisrael Hanesunim Batzara Bashivya Ha'imdim Bei Bayam Ubein Bayabasha Hamakim Yerachem Aleihem Ve'itziim Yitzar L'Rvacha Me'afet L'Oira Mishiba L'Geula Hashta Bagala Uvizman Kariv V'Namar Main. Our learning should also be a schos Refuah Shalema for David ben Belima. So we have seen over here in Siman Reish Nun Beis, if you go back to Sif Beis on Yud Zayin Amud Beis, the Mechaber taught us a halacha. The Mechaber told us that you're allowed to give piecework to an Eini Yehudi if you want to give clothing to a launderer to wash, you want to give your dry cleaning to the dry cleaner, you want to give hides to a tanner to tan your hides. If you're katzatz, if you make the uman, the craftsman, a kablan, if you set a price for the job and you tell him, I'm giving you these hides to tan, I'm giving you this laundry to wash, and I will pay you X to deliver the completed project to me, then you're allowed to give the work to the Eini Yehudi even 5 minutes before the Zman. And if the Eini Yehudi works on Shabbos, no issue. Why? Because Nachri Adaita Denavshei Ka'avad, he accepted this work for the agreed upon amount that he's going to get paid. Now he's doing his malacha. He's not doing your malacha. When he finishes, he'll bring it back. He'll get his money. If he works on Shabbos, he's working on Shabbos because he wants to get paid quicker, so he wants to complete the project sooner. That's why he's working on Shabbos. Now, the Mechaber also gave us another case. The Mechaber said, how about if you're not kotzatz? You don't set a price for the job, but instead what happens is the Eini Yehudi says, you know what, I'm not taking money from you. I'm going to do it for nothing. So that's, said the Mechaber, means that the Eini Yehudi is doing it b'toivas hana. What's toivas hana? Toivas hana in English is appreciation. The Eini Yehudi has an appreciation to you. He appreciates services that you rendered to him in the past, and based on that appreciation, he's now willing to render a service for you gratis. That's also called Nachri Adaita Denavshei Ka'avad, according to the Mechaber. And the Mechaber holds that, again, just like by Kotzatz, we say Nachri Adaita Denavshei Ka'avad, so too by Toivas Hana, we say Nachri Adaita Denavshei Ka'avad. Now, we saw the Ramah. The Ramah brought down a Yesh Cholkim. The Ramah brought down that there are those who disagree on this halacha of Toivas Hana, and they hold that if the Nachri is doing it by Toivas Hana, that is not called Nachri Adaita Denavshei Ka'avad, and that would be usher. You wouldn't be allowed to give him the malacha unless there's time for him to complete it on Erev Shabbos. And we saw in the Mishnah Berurah that it seems from the Darkei Moshe that the Ramah leans to Paskin like that Yesh Cholkim. Then we had another exception I should just mention, an exception to this halacha of kotzatz, that by kotzatz you're allowed to give out the malacha even right before Shabbos. In Sif Gimel, we learned, the Mechaber said, not so if the malacha is yadua u'mufarsemes. If it's known that the malacha that's being done is the malacha of a yid, and it's being done b'makol golui, it's being done in public, then the Mechaber said, toiv lahachmir v'lesar. Even by kotzatz, even if the worker is a kablan, but to have him do the work of a yid, b'farhesia, that the Mechaber said, toiv lahachmir v'lesar. And based on what we learned earlier in Siman Reish Mem Daled, we see that the Mechaber really holds that that would be Aser Midina. Now, another halacha that we saw from the Mechaber. Remember, the Mechaber holds that you're allowed to give malacha to the Eini Yehudi if he's doing it b'toivas hana. If he's doing it for gratis, but he's doing it based on the appreciation of a favor that you rendered him earlier, you're allowed to give him the malacha on Erev Shabbos. Having said that, the Mechaber told us in the end of Sif Beis that in a case where the Eini Yehudi is doing it for nothing, so again, you gave the laundry to the launderer normally charges 18 cents a pound, 20 cents a pound to do the laundry. I might be using very outdated prices, I don't know. But the launderer says, I'm doing it for you for nothing, and ostensibly it's because he or she feels that they owe you something for past services, and that's why they're doing it. In such a case, the Mechaber said, since the Eina Yehudi, bottom line, is not getting paid, therefore, if you happen to come to the Eina Yehudi on Shabbos, and you see that the Eina Yehudi is doing your work on Shabbos, you have to stop him. Why? Because as the Mishnah Berurah explained, since you're right, the Mechaber holds that if the Eina Yehudi offers to do it for nothing, you can give him the work on Erev Shabbos, because Nachra Daitit and Avshei Kavod. The reason he's doing it ultimately is because he feels that he owes you a favor, therefore he's makabel to do the work, Nachra Daitit and Avshei Kavod. So yes, the Mechaber holds you could give him the laundry on Erev Shabbos. But if on Shabbos you come and you see that he's doing your laundry, you have to stop him. Why? Because now, when you're standing there, the guy who's doing the laundry, the Eina Yehudi, looks at you and he says, see, I'm doing your laundry, right? I said I'm going to do it for nothing. I'm doing your laundry. Now the sense is that he's doing it as your shliach. He's doing it for you. He's not doing his own work. He's doing your work. By an auto mechanic who's getting paid, you made up the price and you are going to pay him. You are kotzatz. Or by the launderer, if you are kotzatz, and you come on Shabbos and you see him doing your laundry or fixing your car, you don't have to stop him. Why? Because since he is getting paid, he's doing his own work. He's not doing your work. But if it's b'tovas hana, so ultimately he's not getting paid, then the feeling is that he's doing your work and you have to stop him. So here we see a case where even though it was mutter to give the work to the Eina Yehudi on Erev Shabbos, even right before the Zman, but if he's doing your work on Shabbos, you have to stop him. Now, against this backdrop, let's take a look here at Sif Daled, 2 lines off the bottom on Yud Ches Amud Aleph, says the Mechaber. Kol shekotzatz. In any case where you mamish did the right thing, you are kotzatz. You gave the laundry to the launderer, you gave the car to the auto mechanic, and you were kotzatz. You set a price for the job the way you were supposed to. So he's a kablan. And now you gave the work to him right before Shabbos, but it was 100% mutter. Kol shekotzatz, as long as you are kotzitz, as long as you made him a kablan, af al pi sheyasa Eina Yehudi malacha b'Shabbos, if the Eina Yehudi does the malacha on Shabbos, which is fine, not only is it fine, says the Mechaber, mutter li Yisrael lilboish hakli b'Shabbos atzma. So, you gave the suit to the dry cleaner 5 minutes before Shabbos. 100% mutter, because you are kotzatz. They get $18.50 to go clean the suit. So that's kotzatz. You gave it to them right before Shabbos. Okay? Now, they went ahead and they cleaned the suit Shabbos morning. Okay? They cleaned the suit Shabbos morning. No problem. Nachri adaitit den avshei kavod. Now, says the Mechaber, you got the suit back on Shabbos. How did you get it? We'll discuss that later. You got the suit back on Shabbos. Lamaisa, now on Shabbos, at 2 o'clock in the afternoon, you have the freshly cleaned suit that was cleaned on Shabbos. Says the Mechaber, Mutal Yisrael Lilbay Shakli b'Shabbos Atzma. You're allowed to take it out of the plastic and take the annoying tissue paper out of the sleeves, and you are allowed to wear the suit on Shabbos Gufa, knowing that it was cleaned on Shabbos by the Eina Yehudi. Why, explains the Mechaber? Very simple. The kol shekotzatz, because since you are kotzatz, since you set a price for the job, adaited den avshei kavod. When the Eina Yehudi did the malacha, when he did the malabain of cleaning the suit on Shabbos, he wasn't doing your malacha. He was doing his own malacha. So there's no issue here of an Eina Yehudi doing malacha for Yisrael on Shabbos. No. He wasn't doing malacha for an Eina Yehudi. He was doing dry cleaning. You know why he was doing dry cleaning? Because he's a dry cleaner. That's what dry cleaners do. He was doing his own work. He wasn't doing your work. And therefore, there's no isser here that an Eina Yehudi did work for Yisrael on Shabbos. It's true that it was clean on Shabbos, but he was doing his own work. And therefore, paskins the Mechaber, you're allowed to wear that suit on Shabbos. Now, we'll see the Ramah in a moment. But first, let's see the Mishnah Berurah. Turning back to Yud Ches Amud Aleph, Mishnah Berurah is Kal Chafav. Kal shekotzatz, since you're kotzatz, he's doing his own work. Says the Mishnah Berurah, Uba'oifid shelo yahaya iser b'hanesina. Let's remember that in order for this to be mutter, you have to fulfill all of the necessary tnoim, all of the conditions that make this mutter. It had to have been mutter to give the work to the dry cleaner right before Shabbos. You have to follow all the rules that we saw in Sif Beis. What were those rules? The rules were you can't tell him to clean it on Shabbos. So you can't give the suit to the dry cleaner and tell the dry cleaner I must have it tomorrow. If you do that, you're being kavei amalachtai on Shabbos. You're never allowed to be kavei amalachtai on Shabbos, not even by a kablan. The other stipulation was he can't do the work in your house. So the launderer can't be based in your house using your washer and your dryer and doing the work in your house. Then he's doing your work. It has to be done by him. So it's done by the dry cleaner establishment, not in your house. If you're mekayim all of those tanoim, so it was mutter to give the suit to the dry cleaner on Erev Shabbos, then if it got cleaned on Shabbos, because don't they hate, go where it says the Mechaber. Af alpi, the Mechaber said, even if the Ein Yehudi does the work on Shabbos, not a problem. Now, the Mishnah Berurah right away is going to bring up a halacha that we see later in Siman Reish Ayin Vav, which seems to be a stira to the halacha that we're learning here. And that is, in Reish Ayin Vav, we're going to see that if an Eino Yehudi kindles a fire, he lights a lamp on Shabbos for a Yehudi, even if it's done b'ktzitza, you're not allowed to use that light. Let's take a look at this inside. It says the Mishnah Berurah, V'loi dami l'mashe b'vur b'siman reish ayin vav sif aleph. This halacha is not the same as the halacha that we're going to see Be'ezras Hashem Yisparach in Siman reish ayin vav sif aleph b'Hagah in the Ramah. The Eina Yehudi shehidlik haner b'shvil Yisrael, that if an Eina Yehudi lights a lamp for the benefit of a Yid, afilu im haya al yedei kitzitza, even if the Eina Yehudi was hired as a kablan, he's doing it b'ktzitza, asur lehistamish la'ora, you're not allowed to use the lamp. So you have an Eina Yehudi lamp lighter. There used to be lamp lighters, believe it or not. So you have an Eina Yehudi lamp lighter, and you pay him, I don't know, you pay him $1. If he lights a lamp, he gets $1. If he kindles a fire in the fireplace, he gets $5. But whatever it is, it's ktzitza. You're paying him for the job. You light a lamp, you get $1. That's called ktzitza. So you hired an Eina Yehudi b'ktzitza to light a lamp on Shabbos. He came to your house, he lit a lamp on Shabbos. Says the Ramad, Reish Ayin Vav Sif Aleph, you're not allowed to read by that lamp. You're not allowed to be nene from that lamp, because the malacha was done for a Yid on Shabbos. So why isn't that a stira? The Mechaber is telling you over here the suit was dry cleaned on Shabbos. You're allowed to use it. Explains the Mishnah Berurah the nafkamina. He says like this: Tahacha over here, Afagav Shaha Yisrael nene b'levishasai mimelech Shabbos. It's true that when the Yisrael puts on the freshly cleaned and freshly pressed suit on Shabbos, he's going to be nene from malacha that's done on Shabbos. That's true. However, mikam makam Eina Yehudi loy avad b'Shabbos b'shvil hanas Yisrael. The Eina Yehudi dry cleaner, when he put the load into the dry cleaning machine Saturday morning, he was not doing it in order to clean the suit for you so that you should have hana from it on Shabbos. He was doing his dry cleaning work. He put together a load. He came in Shabbos morning. He put it into the machine. It got finished. He pressed it. He finished. He brought it to you. But he wasn't doing it to be mahana you on Shabbos. He doesn't know if you're going to wear it now or you're going to wear it at a wedding next week. And you know what? He couldn't care less. So he wasn't doing it to be mahana you on Shabbos. Memela, it's mutter. Rakadaita did Avshela, Ma'ala Hashlam Pul. He did it because he wants to finish his load and he wants to get paid. Masha Enken Hassam, but over there in Reish Ayin Vav, by the Ein Yehudi is lighting the lamp, Hassam Hatlakasai B'Shabbos, Haya Kadeshi Yishtamish B'ya Yisrael Akshav. When the lamplighter comes to your house to light a lamp for you, it's not pshat, Nochri Adaita dan Avsheka Avad. I'm lighting the lamp in Rabbi Weiss's house on Shabbos morning at 10 o'clock, not so Rabbi Weiss could chazer could prepare a Dirshu share. No, I'm doing it because I have a contract. I have to light lamps. No, he knows good and well that he's coming right now. He's lighting a lamp for you, and you're going to sit down and use the lamp. So he's doing it to be mahana you right now. He knows you're going to use it now. So he's doing it to be mahana you. It's true that in the lumdus of Amir La'akum, since you are kotzatz, it's nachri adaited than avshei ka'avad. But he's doing the work right now to be mahani you right now. And that's why that's usher, v'lachein usher. So that's the chiluk. By the dry cleaner is doing the work, he's going to deliver you the suit, you're going to wear the suit whenever you wear the suit. Not negated me. The lamplighter knows he's doing something to be mahani you right now. It's like a guy who would make a burger, he would grill a burger for you right now. He's not under any delusions. It's not pshat that, you're kotzatz. If for every burger that I grill, I get $5. So I'll grill a burger. I'm doing it to be mahani. Yeah, you grill a burger, you know the guy's about to eat the burger. So you're being mahani him. You light the lamp, you know you're being mahani him. Ulefizeh. Now, based on this explanation, the Mishnah Berurah says you got to realize there's an afkamina la'alacha. Ulefizeh. According to this explanation, Gam B'inyonenu, in the context of over here, Reish Nun Beis Sif Dalid, where the mechaber is matir, the launderer or the dry cleaner, if you could wear it on that Shabbos, even though you know the balaka was done on Shabbos, depends. Ima Yisrael Amar Le'eni Yehudi Samach L'Chashecha. Let's say the Yid would give the suit to the dry cleaner right before Shabbos, and or 10 minutes before Shabbos, and then walk back in 10 minutes later and say, Madur lo gamarta malachti. Why didn't you finish my suit? I need my suit. I got to wear my suit tomorrow morning. Ve'heshiv lo yesez lo yislamancha b'Shabbos. And then the Eini Yehudi would turn around and say, I'm going to do it right now. I'm going to do it tonight. I'm going to stay in the shop Friday night. I'm going to do it tonight on Shabbos, so you should have it tomorrow morning. Then in a chidami, that filo dasa mechaber also lo lav Shabbos, k'may gami ner. Then the mechaber would agree that it's usher to wear it on Shabbos. Because now you know that the Eini Yehudi, not that you know that the Eini Yehudi did the malacha on Shabbos. The fact that you know that the Eini Yehudi did the malacha on Shabbos, lo ichpatli, that doesn't matter. Because nachri adaited den avshei ka'avad. The key point is, did he do the malacha on Shabbos for you, to be mahani you? If you complain to him that the suit's not ready, and you let him know you need the suit ASAP, then when he did the malacha on Shabbos, he was doing the malacha on Shabbos to be mahani you on Shabbos. Then it's like the ner, and then it's also. But if he did the malacha on Shabbos, regardless of you, he's just a dry cleaner. He does, this is the way he conducts his business. So I don't care that he did the malach on Shabbos. Okay. Now we see the Ramah. So that was the kuludika psak of the mechaber. Now let's see the Ramah, top line, Yud Chesam and Beis. Haga, says the Ramah, V'yesh oisre l'lavshai, kol sheyadua she'eni Yehudi gemaroi b'Shabbos. The Ramah disagrees with this mechaber. He brings down over here from the Gas Hashri, the Maril, the Beis Yosef, the Rekeach. He brings down over here that there are those that say, if you know the malacha was done on Shabbos, you're not allowed to use it on that Shabbos. Yes, you gave the suit to the dry cleaner beheter. You didn't have to be concerned that he was doing the malacha on Shabbos. Not only that, we saw earlier, even if you saw that the malacha was being done on Shabbos, since you're paying him, you're not mechuyev to be moicha. You're not mechuyev to stop him from doing the malacha. But to use the suit on Shabbos, when the malacha was done on Shabbos, that the Ramah brings down, that you can't do. V'tzarich lahamtin b'moitzai Shabbos, and you would have to wait to use the suit after Shabbos, b'chtei sheyeh yoseh. You would have to wait enough time that during that time, from when Shabbos was over until then, the malacha could have been done. So if it takes an hour to dry clean and press a suit, you would have to wait an hour after Shabbos is over, that enough time that it could have been done after Shabbos. V'hachi nog l'chatchila, and the Ramah says that l'chatchila we should be machmer, and this is the way we should be noyeg. Im lo yishet tzarech love b'Shabbos, unless it's something that you mamish need on Shabbos. You don't have another Shabbos suit. You were walking around until then on Shabbos wearing vachadik clothing, so you mamish needed on Shabbos, sha'oz yesh lahakel. Then the Ramah says you could be makel. Says the Mishnah Berurah, ois katan chavches. V'yesh oisrin. There are those that aser to use to be nene from the malacha that was done on Shabbos. Why? Taimam, their rationale is, says the Mishnah Berurah, the aser li Yisrael lehanes mehamalacha b'Shabbos b'chol gavni. If you know that malacha was done on Shabbos, you can't be nene from that malacha. It seems that the difference over here between the Mechaber and the Ramah, the Ramah is going with these shittas who say it's true, Nokri Adaita den Avshei Kavad. But at the end of the day, when the dry cleaner cleans the suit, he's doing it to service his customers, right? He's not doing it because he just loves doing dry cleaning, right? Yes, he's making money, so he's doing it because he's in business, but it is a customer service business. That's what it is. I'm serving customers. So the bottom line is, I'm doing it for my customers. I want to do a good job because I want to make my customers happy. So these Machmirim, the Ramah, who's bringing down from the Machmirim over here, they hold that the bottom line is there is an aspect over here that the malacha is being done for you. The malacha is being done for Yisrael. So to that extent, it's usher to use it on Shabbos. To go ahead and use it on Shabbos, to be nene from the malacha that the Eini Yehudi did on Shabbos for your hana, that you can't do. The Mechaber looks at it, and the Mechaber says no. When we say that if you're katzatz, nachri adaitin den avshei ka'avad, so it's nachri adaitin den avshei ka'avad. I don't look at it that he's doing it to be mahanami, and therefore I could use it. Aiskan chavtes, the Ramah said you have to wait, b'chtei sheyeyaseh, says the Mishnah Berurah, k'dei shelayeyonem ha'malach Shabbos. As long as you wait b'chtei sheyeyaseh after Shabbos, then I was no longer nene from Melech Shabbos, because easily the malacha could have been done after Shabbos. If I use it right after Shabbos, then I'm mamish being nene from the work that was done on Shabbos. But if I wait, I'm not being nene from the fact that it was done on Shabbos. I didn't use it until enough time that the malacha could have been done just the same after Shabbos. Well, if he's that, and according to this, says the Chavetz Chaim, B'shnei Yom Tovim shel Galuyos. Let's say in first day Yom Tov, second day Yom Tov, here in Chutz La'aretz. Im also Eini Yehudi Barishon. Let's say the Eini Yehudi did malacha on the first day Yom Tov. Mutter b'tchilas Yom Sheni b'chtei sheyayaseh. You would be allowed to use, to be nene from that malacha, if you wait b'chtei sheyayaseh, matzi the first day Yom Tov, going into the second day Yom Tov. Why? Because mimanashach. Says Mishnah Berurah mimanashach. De'ema Yom Rishon Kodesh. Let's say the first day Yom Tov was the real day Yom Tov. The first day Yom Tov was Kodesh. Okay, so then the Eini Yehudi did malacha on Yom Tov. So now wait, after the first day of Yom Tov is over, wait b'chtei sheyeyaseh, and now use it on the second day, which ultimately is really chayil. So, D'mayom Rishon Kodesh, hashedi chayil, and you waited b'chtei sheyeyaseh. V'mayom Rishon chayil, and let's say the first day was really chayil. Well, then b'vadei muter. Then the malacha wasn't done on Yom Tov, the malacha was done on chayil. And says the Mishnah Berurah, "Ve'ein chilek b'chol zeh bein mi shenasa b'shviloi bein la'acherim." When we're saying like the Ramah that there are those that restrict being nene from the malacha that was done during the day on Shabbos until after b'chtei sheyeyaseh Motzei Shabbos, it doesn't matter who the malacha. It doesn't matter who wants to be nene from the malacha. It doesn't matter if the owner of the suit wants to use it or he wants to lend the suit to somebody else, so that the malacha wasn't really done for that person. Doesn't matter. You have the same restrictions. The Eli Rabbah says you could be makel when it comes to somebody else, as long as it was done properly b'ktzitza. Continues the Ramah, third line down, by the Oiskat Lamid for the Mishnah Berurah. The Ramah brings down another kula. V'im yesh litlois shenigmar be'erev Shabbos. Let's say you got hold of the suit on Shabbos, and you don't really know when the malacha was done. It's possible that it was done before Shabbos. In other words, you dropped off the suit by the dry cleaner. Technically speaking, there might have been enough time for the suit to be cleaned before Shabbos. So why do I have to assume that it was cleaned on Shabbos? Maybe it was cleaned before Shabbos. If there's any possibility of saying that it was done on Erev Shabbos, mutter b'chol inyan, then it's completely mutter. Says the Mishnah Berurah cut limud v'yesh litlois. Taha yesh batirid b'chol inyan. We have the mechaber who's matter using the suit on Shabbos, even if you know that he cleaned it on Shabbos. We have the Ramah brought down those that are machmir. But if there's any possibility, if you don't know for sure that the malacha was done on Shabbos, and there's a reasonable doubt, there's a reasonable possibility that the malacha was completed on Erev Shabbos, then you could definitely be mekel. I lost the place here, bear with me. Let's say you gave shoes to the shoemaker. So you gave your shoes to the shoemaker to put on new soles and heels. So the shoemaker takes off the old sole, he takes off the old heel, he puts on new soles, he puts on new heels. Then what does he have to do? He has to dye the outside of the edge of the sole, right? And then what's the last thing he does? He takes the shoes and he polishes the shoes. Says the Mishnah Berurah a very interesting thing. He says, let's say the real shoe repair was already completed on Erev Shabbos. So he put on the sole, he cut and dyed the edges of the sole. So the soles and the heels were already done before Shabbos. Rak shetiknoi vehechlikoi b'Shabbos. What did he do? He polished it. He polished the boots. That he did on Shabbos. But the etzem shoe repair was already done before Shabbos. Says the Mishnah Berurah, then shari. Then you're allowed to wear the shoes. Why? Even according to the Ramah. Why? Because you know what? The shoes were ready to be worn even without the polishing. That's not what made the shoes ready. What made the shoes ready was he finished the replacement of the soles and the heels. Really, now you have completely wearable shoes. The polishing, that's nice, that's customer service, give back a nice, beautiful pair of shoes, but I didn't need that. So when I wear the shoes now, I'm not really being nene from Melecha Shabbos. The hana that I'm having is from the replacement of the soles and the heels. That was done before Shabbos. The same halacha would be, you gave a linen garment. Linen creases very, very easily. So linen always has to be pressed. So let's say you gave a linen garment to be cleaned, and they cleaned it. Now the last step in the process is putting it tachas hamachbesh, which means putting it in the press. So let's say they cleaned it before Shabbos, but they didn't press it before Shabbos. Sharigam kemitamzeh. If they pressed it on Shabbos, you're allowed to use it on Shabbos. You know why? Because you could wear it without it being pressed. It might look a little bit, not so great, but it's eminently wearable. So that's fine. That's not called being nene from Meleches Shabbos. Now we come to a very, very interesting discussion over here. We're 4 lines down in the Shulchan Aruch, in the words of the Ramah, middle of the line, 4 lines down, Vidafka. So we're discussing over here, you gave out work to the Ein Yehudi on Erev Shabbos. You did it the right way. You did it b'ktitza. Now what happened is, the project was returned to you on Shabbos. And the discussion is, are you allowed to use it on Shabbos? You know that the malacha was done on Shabbos. Are you allowed to use it on Shabbos? Mechaber, yes. Ramah, no. In the Mishnah Berurah, we see a couple of exceptions. But now the question is, how did you get it? How did you get it back? Says the Ramah. Vedafka, this whole discussion is only germane im shiger lo ein Yehudi lebesai. If the ein Yehudi shipped the finished item to your house. So the dry cleaner delivered it. Now, I don't want to get into right now shilos of where was he located. Was he located outside the Tchum? Let's assume right now that everything was within the Tchum and everything else. It is an Erev. V'dafkim shiger lo ein Yehudi lebesai. The finished garment, the finished project, was delivered to your house. That's when we can have this discussion. Are you allowed to use it? Are you not allowed to use it? Aval aser likach kelim mi beisa umen b'Shabbos v'yomtiv. But could you pick it up? Could you go to the dry cleaner and pick up the dry cleaning from the dry cleaner? Could you go to the shoemaker and pick up your shoes? That, says the Ramah, certainly not. You're not allowed to pick it up mi beisa umen on Shabbos and Yom Tov. It brings this down from the Mordechai, from the Yozerua, Hagos Maimini, Hagos Ashri. Says the Mishnah Berurah, Ois Kat Lamed Aleph, Likach Kelim, Va'afil Yedei Avayda Shenigmar Kodim Shabbos v'Yom Tov. This is true even if you know for certain that the malacha was completed before Shabbos. So you gave the suit to the dry cleaner on Tuesday, and the dry cleaner told you it was going to be ready Thursday morning. So it was ready for pickup already on Thursday. You know that the malacha was done before Shabbos. Are you allowed to pick it up on Shabbos? No, you're not allowed to pick it up on Shabbos. Shabbos. And that's true even if you're desperate for a suit. You got cholent all over your suit by Kiddush Shabbos morning, and the rest of Shabbos you don't have a suit to wear. So it's Tzarech Shabbos. You're still not allowed to pick it up. And this is true even if you don't have to pay for it. V'atam mipnei maris ha'ayin. This is because of a maris ha'ayin issue. The Yomru sheb'Shabbos asoy u'midas Yisrael. If you go pick up a suit from the dry cleaner on Shabbos, it looks to people like you had a dry cleaner clean your suit for you on Shabbos. So there's a maris ha'ayin issue. V'yisa B'Lavush says, Ta'afilu im lo yiviem b'yodoi. Somebody comes up with a kunz. He says, you know what? I'm not going to go to the dry cleaner, pick up the suit, and walk out from the dry cleaner with the hanger, with the plastic, with the whole thing. I'm not going to do that. I understand that that's a maris ha'ayin. Instead, what I'm going to do is, this dry cleaner is also a tailor. So they have a changing room over there. I'm going to go in, I'm going to ask him for my suit, I'm going to go into the changing room, I'm going to put on the Shabbos suit, and maybe I'll leave my weekday stuff there, I don't know, and I'm going to walk out wearing a suit. No one's going to know the difference. I'm not carrying anything. Says the Levush, no. It's still maris ha'ayin. Bottom line is, you walked into the dry cleaner on Shabbos, and you walked out, doesn't smell right, doesn't pass the smell test. It looks like you were going to pick up dry cleaning that you had done for you on Shabbos. Now we get a little more interesting even. Because of a Magen Avraham, the Magen Avraham says, how about to send an Eino Yehudi to go get the dry cleaning? Could you do that? Because of a Magen Avraham, Efshir da'afilu al yidei Eino Yehudi aser la'aviyoi. Even to have an Eino Yehudi pick up the dry cleaning. So now there's no maris ha'ayin. There's no maris ha'ayin if Tony goes to the dry cleaner, walks out of the dry cleaner on Shabbos, because of maris ha'ayin, he's an Eino Yehudi. So there's no maris ha'ayin issue, aser la'aviyoi. You're still not allowed to do it. Why? The uvda dechoilhu. Because the Magen Avraham says, there's another reason why you can't pick up dry cleaning from the dry cleaner on Shabbos. Uvda dechoil. You're not allowed to do things on Shabbos that are distinctly weekday activities. Running errands is a weekday activity. Picking up the dry cleaning is a weekday activity. So you're not allowed to pick up dry cleaning on Shabbos. Now, a guy, an Eino Yehudi, is not restricted by Uvda Dechoil. But the Magen Avraham says you can't have an Eino Yehudi pick up the dry cleaning on Shabbos because of Uvda Dechoil. Why? Because since it would be usher for you to do it, because it's Uvda Dechoil, you're therefore not allowed to ask an Eino Yehudi to do it. If you can't do it, if it's usher for you, then it's a mira la'akum to have the akum do it. So since it would be usher for you for Uvda Dechoil, it's usher to have the Eino Yehudi do it because of Uvda Dechoil. Now this is very interesting because this gets involved in a whole other shaila, and that is Uvda Dechoil usher when the underpinnings of the Isser of Uvda Dechoil are not really there. I'll give you an example. An example is Uvda Dechoil. You're not allowed to get on the train on Shabbos, even if it's free and everybody knows it's free and everything else, and the train doesn't work any harder because you got on it. You're not allowed to get on a train on Shabbos because the shul that you want to go to is far away, but it's only 2 stops on the train and it's a 2-minute walk from the train station. You're not allowed to get on the train on Shabbos. Why not? Why not? What is there? There's no maris ha'ayin that people are going to think that you're paying money because everybody knows that this train is free. Happens to be where I live. It's Staten Island. That's the way it is. I could go anywhere. I live all the way on one side of Staten Island. I could travel all the way to the other side of Staten Island. As long as I don't go all the way to the Staten Island ferry station, if I get off one stop before, it's free. The only place that you pay is at the ferry terminal. It's the only place you pay, and everybody on Staten Island knows it. So there's no Maris Ayin. There's no... What problem is there? The answer is it's Uvda D'Chol. Why is it Uvda D'Chol? Because people generally get on the train to go to work. So when somebody sees you getting on the train, you're engaged in a weekday activity. It looks like you're going to work on Shabbos. But what about in a case where there is no Uvda D'Chol? So, I mean, I'll give you a case. A case would be, this Shiloh just came up recently, what if you made early Shabbos? You made early Shabbos, and it's 98 degrees and humid outside. And somebody who didn't make early Shabbos comes over to you and says, you know what, I'll drive you home. So, there's no Isser of Amir Yisrael, and for him it's not Shabbos. So he'll open the door for you, he'll everything else. I'm not getting into the nitty-gritty of the shaila of what happens with different sensors in the car, and you're going to sit down and it's going to make the seatbelt sign go ding, ding, ding. I'm not getting into the nitty-gritty of the shaila. I'm just looking at it from 30,000 feet, right? Is it Uvda D'Chol to get in the car? So there are those that want to say, Uvda D'Chol? How can it be Uvda D'Chol before Shabbos? Now, it's true, you are Makabel Shabbos. But if most of the world wasn't Makabel Shabbos yet, if most people look outside, it's not Shabbos yet, it's 6, it's 7 o'clock. The Shki is 8:30. It's 7 o'clock. So anyone's going to think that you're going to work? Why would anybody think that you're going to work on Shabbos? It's not Shabbos. So the underpinnings of Uvda D'Chol don't seem to be there. But the bottom line is getting into a car on Shabbos is Uvda D'Chol. And for you it's Shabbos. So does Uvda D'Chol apply over here? I'm not sure if there's a shtickler raya from this Magen Avram. Over here, what Uvda D'Chol? It's the Eini Yehudi that's going into the dry cleaner. How could we call it Eini Yehudi going into the dry cleaner Uvda D'Chol? But the problem is that for you, you wouldn't be allowed to go into the dry cleaner, because for you it would be also because of Uvda D'Chol. If it's also for you, for Uvda D'Chol, you can't have a Nachri do it, Uvda D'Chol. Again, I'm not sure if there's a raya from here or not. I have to think more into it. I'm just giving you, just like a 30,000 foot overview over here of some of the things that are involved. Okay. Ice cotton lamid bays. So the Mechaber said, you can't go collect the dry cleaning from the base of Uman. You can't go pick up the shoes from the shoemaker. Mi base of Uman, ice cotton lamid bays, says the Mishnah Berurah, vein chilik bein Yisrael any Yehudi. There's no nafkamina over here whether the craftsman, whether you're picking up from a Yid or you're picking up from an Eini Yehudi. Ice cotton lamid gimel, we didn't do yet. Let's go back into the Ramah. Says the Ramah, 3 lines up for the bottom, middle of the line. V'chol zeh b'kelim she'asa Yisrael. This whole discussion is only when the Uman, the Eini Yehudi craftsman, did work for a Yisrael. We're only discussing this if the Eini Yehudi launderer washed the Yisrael's laundry, or the Eini Yehudi dry cleaner cleaned the Yisrael's suit, or the Eini Yehudi shoemaker repaired the Yisrael's shoes. But Aval, Eini Yehudi she'oisa minolim al hamekach. Let's say you have an Eini Yehudi shoemaker who makes shoes and then he sells them. Now, when he's making shoes, he's not necessarily making your shoes. He's making shoes. So, Eini Yehudi she'oisa minolim al hamekach, mutter li Yisrael hamakiroi, it would be mutter for Yisrael who has a relationship with this Eini Yehudi shoemaker, leilich v'likach mimenu b'Shabbos, to go to him, pick up shoes from him on Shabbos, ulinolam, and to wear them on Shabbos. You can't discuss price with him. So what's the Ramah saying? The Ramah saying you have an Eini Yehudi shoemaker in town, and he makes shoes, and he sells shoes. Something happened Shabbos morning. You got up Shabbos morning, you started walking, and the heel of your shoe fell off. And now you don't have a shoe for the rest of Shabbos. Oh, you know what? I know Tony the shoemaker. He's not going to make me pay him on Shabbos. We don't even have to discuss the price on Shabbos. I'll walk into the shop. I'll say, hey, Tony, do you have a size 9.5 wide? In black, lace up? Yeah, I got it right here. All right, you know what? I need a pair of shoes. For Shabbos, I'll talk to you next week. Sure, no problem. He gives you the shoes, you put them on, you walk out. Says the Ramah, that would be mutter. Because what's the problem? You're not being nene from even if he made the shoes on Shabbos. You're not being nene from malacha that he did for you on Shabbos. He didn't do the malacha for you. He didn't do the malacha for any Yisrael. He's a shoemaker who makes shoes. So he made shoes on Shabbos, and he makes them to sell. So now fine, so you picked it up on Shabbos. You're not doing business on Shabbos. You're not going to talk about money. You're not going to pay him. You're not even going to discuss payment. So says the Ramah, no problem. Very interesting. Let's take a look at the Mishnah Berurah here. Says the Mishnah Berurah, Ice Cotton Lam Gimel, Aval Eini Yehudi Sha'isa, but an Eini Yehudi you make shoes to sell. The Ha'adaita that I've She'ovid b'Shabbos. Face value, says the Mishnah Berurah, the heter for this is because the shoemaker did not do the malacha of making the shoes for Yisrael on Shabbos. He did it for himself to make inventory to have to sell. Ve'isr ta'ava mi beisa uman. How about the fact that you're going to pick it up from the beisa uman? Well, says the Mishnah Berurah, svir le'le Rama, the Rama holds the loy shaykh bazeh, that the isser of picking up kalim from the beisa uman doesn't apply over here. Even though you're going to the Eina Yehudi, says the Ramah, I don't see why that should be usher. Why? Since everybody knows that the Eina Yehudi shoemaker is always busy making shoes for his own inventory to sell, what the Mishnah Berurah is saying is like this. The Ramah said you're not allowed to go pick up kalim, mi beisa uman on Shabbos. The Mishnah Berurah told us that the reason the Ramah says that is because the Ramah holds that there's a problem of maris ayin. What's the problem of maris ayin? The problem of maris ayin is when you go pick up your suit from the dry cleaner on Shabbos, people are going to say that you had the dry cleaner clean your suit on Shabbos in contravention of the halacha of Amir La'akum. So the same thing would apply if you have a shoemaker who does not make shoes to sell. You have a shoemaker whose panasa is repairing shoes. You gave in your shoes to get soles and heels. You can't pick them up on Shabbos, according to the Ramah. Why? Maris ayin. People are going to say, you're picking up the shoes on Shabbos. You must have given the shoes to the shoemaker on Shabbos to do the soles and heels on Shabbos, in contravention of Amir La'akum. But in this case, where you're going to a shoemaker who makes shoes to sell shoes, what are people going to say? People aren't going to say, you got the shoemaker to make shoes for you on Shabbos. Why would people say that? Everybody knows that he's a shoemaker who has an inventory, who has a wall behind him of racks of shoes for sale. So he was making shoes on Shabbos for himself. That's his parnasa. You went in and you picked up a pair of shoes. So there's no marasayin. That's why the Ramah says that this would be mutter. Now that's the rationale of the Ramah. However, says the Mishnah Berurah, V'hamagen Avram u'sha'arei harba achronim, but the Magen Avram and many other achronim, the Taisva Shabbos, the Bir Agra, the Pri Megadim. So Magen Avram u'sha'ar harba achronim cholko al dvarav. They disagree with the Ramah. Usfir lehu they hold. The gabozeh also leilech etzloi v'likach mimenu k'imami sharuman. You won't be allowed to pick up shoes from this shoemaker the same way you can't pick up kalim from any other woman. If the shoemaker would bring you a pair of shoes, you'd be able to use the shoes. But to go to the shoemaker to pick up the shoes on Shabbos, that all these achrayim say you're not allowed to do. The mistama lava daita Yisrael avad ibu ir sheruba einam Yehudim kabashakasav sibit tafkov tesvav. If the shoemaker brings you the shoes to your house, these achrayim say you could wear the shoes. Why? Because there's no svara to say that he made the shoes for you and you're being nene from Melech Shabbos. But to go to him to get the shoes, that they say you cannot do. Ach im hu eina Yehudi hu chenveni she'eina umen efshar diyesh lahakel. If he's just he's not a shoemaker. He has a shoe store, so he doesn't make shoes. He just sells shoes. Then maybe you could be makel. But the Taisva Shabbos the Pri Megadim says you wouldn't be allowed to do that either. Why? How do you get out of the Uvda Dechoil problem? Going to a shoe store and picking up shoes is Uvda Dechoil, says the Taisva Shabbos and the Pri Megadim. You can't go to a shoe store and pick up shoes, even if you're not paying for them, even if they weren't made for you on Shabbos, even if the guy doesn't make shoes. Going to a shoe store, picking up shoes is uvda d'chayil. That's going shopping, even if you don't pay. Going shopping is not something you're allowed to do on Shabbos. So they're very unhappy with this. So we have many achrayim that disagree with the ikar halacha of the Ramah, that you can't go to the shoemaker and get shoes. One of the reasons also is uvda d'chayil. Another reason is because they say, bottom line is you're being nene from Melecha Shabbos, and then you have these the Tosei Shabbos and the Pri Megadim and say even to go to a store where the guy's not a shoemaker. So there's no tzad iser of being nene from Melecha Shabbos. Still, you can't go to a shoe store to pick up shoes because it is uvda d'chayil. We're going to stop over here. Thank you so much for joining me for limud HaTorah. The source of limud HaTorah should be begging against Klal Yisrael. The Rosh Hashanah should send Yeshua, Refuas, Parnasa, and Shidduchim to all those in need. And we should be zocheh to see the BS called Tzedek, B'Meherav Yameinu. Amen. Be well.